Hey guys, remember that fall update that happened to Battlefield 1 like 2 or 3 or 4 weeks ago? Yeah, I'm talking about that now. Whoops. With the launch of Battlefield 4 being the disaster that it was, and Hardline being somehow forgotten by most, eyes were on Battlefield 1 to go smoothly. And for the most part, it did. I'm sure there's some people who had hardware issues and a few connection things, but that happens with any massive release. I haven't really had any issues since day one connecting to servers and enjoying one of my new favorite games. Problem is, with everything going so well, I'm not really sure what to talk about. Before the game was out, it was fun to speculate, but now with it in hand, I'm pretty much happy with everything there. The only glitch I've really ran into is not being able to shoot after being revived, having to switch from the pistol back to the rifle before it resets. That being said, they are still tweaking and polishing up small things here and there, and many of these changes came in the big fall update. So I thought let's go through the changes and see how Battlefield 1 is holding up. And hopefully that revive thing doesn't become the new knee slide of Battlefield 1. I mean, guys, it's been 4 years. How is this not fixed? First, one of the biggest changes in the update. They added a tiny little quit button on the loading screen. Thank God, guys, right? I mean, it's 2016. There's no fucking time to waste. High-speed internet, 4G, Hyperloop, Elon Musk. We can't wait 20 seconds. I mean, for fuck's sake. You know, it's a nice change of pace to be able to complain about the little fixes instead of how did I get shot behind a wall 10 seconds after I ran behind it. When Battlefield 1 first launched, mortars were admittedly a little overpowered in the grand scheme of things. Realistic or not, I think a game should be balanced within itself and not stick 100% with reality if it leads to a worse gaming experience. There's a full video on that topic here. But mortars already had the benefit of letting you see a godlike view of the battlefield, so being able to shoot one accurate shot after another was stupid effective. What they did is change the time it takes to fire an accurate shot to about 4 seconds, as signified by this little circle. And if you fire ahead of the time, your shot goes all over the place. So while in the past you would fire and see the way your enemy was moving and then quickly fire again, kind of tracking them, now there is enough time for that little infantry guy to get to some cover. People who loved using mortars will probably call this change bullshit, but I think it's fair in the end for everyone. Hardware optimization, at least on PC, can make or break a game. When developing said game, the creators need to pick the most popular hardware and make sure the game runs on that before the release. But that means sometimes games release with less than stellar performance on lower to medium spec PCs. That's honestly why this update is one of my favorites, because Battlefield 1 can be a beast of a game. Battlefield 4 was a beast itself on release, and I remember being able to barely play it above 40 frames per second. But nowadays, on almost the same hardware, I'm getting close to 100, if not more. That's the amazing work after years and years of optimization for all kinds of hardware. So while Battlefield 1 still runs better than Battlefield 4 at launch, I'm looking forward to it a year from now. Operations has been one of my favorite new game modes in Battlefield 1. Sure, you have to sign a 1-hour exclusivity deal to just play a match, but it's worth it. That's what makes it so epic. I've always liked the game mode Rush, especially in Bad Company 2, because of the clear line between attackers and defenders. Sometimes a Battlefield match can feel like a crapshoot, with everyone running around in every direction. But with Rush, you have a clear line of where the enemies will be. And it's more about a good strategy instead of just running up behind someone. So take Rush and electrify it! By adding behemoth reinforcements, multiple maps, and a grand scale Rush of the past only dreamed of, and you have the new Operations game mode, which strangely a lot of people who didn't enjoy Rush seem to enjoy. Since I always loved it, it's a great addition to the game, and it just adds an epic scale on top of what was already awesome. Different rounds within the same map give each team a chance to reset, regroup, and fight back or defend. Anyways, they changed a few things about the way it worked, like attackers having more tickets and points being captured quicker because apparently it was unbalanced, I guess? I never had a problem on the attacking side. I guess I'm just OP. So minor changes, but I really just wanted to gush about Operations. Oh God. Oh, it's everywhere. Oh, it's gushing everywhere. It's gushing wordplay. It's gushing everywhere. Oh, fuck. They made AA guns weaker. Next. Now this one is a pretty big deal, at least like this big. at least 12 inches of change. When Battlefield 1 launched, Suez was a tiny little baby map with only 3 objectives, reminiscent of the block in Battlefield Hardline. I actually liked the block, and it seemed like a lot of people did since it was the only server left before the game completely died. I bet if I got on the PC version of Hardline right now, the only server that's full would be the block. Let's find out. So with the new update to Suez, they added 2 new objectives because players seem to think the map was far too small for 64. These objectives are really nothing more than the old team spawn points, but they did open up the map a bit. Every Battlefield game for the last few years at least has had one of these chaotic close quarters maps, and that's because, as I said, they have their fans. There's always a few Metro or Locker servers open, and we just proved the block. I imagine people like these maps because of how fast-paced they can be. Battlefield used to be known as a walking simulator before games like Rust were created. So getting to the action quicker is enticing to some people who just want to get to it. The problem doesn't exist as much in Battlefield 1 with actually designed maps. Good job, DICE. But the place for a small map is still there. Before and after the change, I think Suez is a great map because of one change from previous maps of this sort. You have options! In Metro and especially Locker, everyone was funneled down tunnels. Funnel tunnel. Until they hit a choke point, and it was fucking stupid! When you played Operation Locker on Team Deathmatch, you could see that parts of it were actually designed pretty well. But in a normal match, you never see them because everyone's just fighting in fucking doorways. But with Suez, you have little towns and tons of entrances, hallways, and rooms for you to move between and hide in. That's actually one of my favorite things in Battlefield 1, the wealth of interiors for infantry to go into and use as cover. But it's most noticeable when going from the open desert to cover in the buildings of Suez. I just have a blast with the unpredictable nature of these buildings, and some might say it's too much of a clusterfuck, but I'd rather have that instead of hallway. So this is a small change, but speaks to the core message of what I think Battlefield 1 is going for, and you know what, include it in this next one. Same as the introduction of squad boosts, slight tweaks have been made to Battlefield 1's squads to encourage players to work together and stay focused. Battlefield 1 has done a great job so far of making each game about the match and less about everyone's KD. While I know it was a goal in previous games, this time they've really committed to the idea. Squad boost makes people actively look for a squad with boosts, or lets friends work together. And they've added some features from Battlefield Hardline, of all things, right? I mean, see? Hardline had some good stuff, see? Anyways, in that game, they added a feature to request orders from a squad leader. And if no orders were received over a certain amount of time, they were kicked from the squad leader position. Do your job or get out is basically what that means, and now it's been added to Battlefield 1. The only problem I can think of now with squads is those one-person squads that are locked. What is wrong with you people? Maybe some type of system that closes the squad after a certain amount of time could work. Like after 5 minutes, it just throws you into a squad with an open slot. I just hate seeing those players taking up a squad spot for no reason. You're not helping anyone. Stop it. You. Yes, you've done it. You know you have. And finally, the ability to rent servers was added. Well, kinda. This is another one of those changes that just kinda shows how the game's release is being handled. Rent a Server came out, but with a super limited toolset. You can't ban people or customize a ton of stuff in the server, and I'm guessing that's to make sure it works. DICE and EA are releasing things slowly, piece by piece, to avoid another Battlefield 4 event. Again, Hardline pretty much went fine, but everyone chose to forget that, so I guess this better not be Battlefield 4 all over again. Ah! Renting a server is fun and adds to the sense of community, I think, but it's another in a line of features that will be getting more robust later on, hopefully. Similar to the introduction of new game modes like Hardcore and Fog of War. Games that can be played in a private server, but I haven't seen any on the actual main servers yet. But hey, that's fine. Make sure they work perfectly before releasing them to everyone. Iron out every little bug. I'm okay with that. I know some people are gonna say it should have been done before the game came out, but I'd rather have this approach of releasing over time than the Battlefield 4's overambitious approach of having everything broken right from the start. So I'm looking forward to what they add in the future, and I don't really know what I would change about the game right now. Many people have said gas grenades are too strong and annoying, but that's kind of the fucking point. It's like how smoke grenades used to be in Battlefield 4. They were pointless because of infrared scopes, and since the two just canceled each other out, they were never really used, unless you were one of those people. If they nerf gas grenades to the point of being useless, then all we have is a less interesting game because of it. But that's just what I think. What do you guys think? Please let me know in the comment section below what you think about all the changes to Battlefield 1. Let me know. Jump cut. Also, like this video if you want to support the show and subscribe to the channel if you're not. Another jump cut. Speaking of support, if you guys enjoy these videos, consider supporting Culture Shock Network on Patreon. By giving $1 or $2 to each video that comes out, you guys can help me support this channel and keep making as high quality as videos as I can. If these are high quality, I think they're okay. I mean, I got a microphone right here that sounds pretty okay, and it was all gotten because you guys were generous and supported the show. So I hope that sounded okay, but thank you guys so much for supporting the show. Those who donated to Patreon already, thank you guys so much, and I'd like to give a special thanks to anyone over $5. Let it roll. That was stupid. That was a stupid transition. Maybe I should change it. Or drag out the end of my sentence until it goes on too long and eventually I just cut it randomly at some point. I don't know when.